one of the things that I have been seeing in Christian people is that many of the Christian people that get into trouble because they say no to the Lord. I didn't get one amen on that one. Hello. They get into trouble because God has called them for a purpose. I want to take a few minutes tonight because I feel this is important. We have people in our church that are called to ministry. We have people, even young people, called to sing. We have some that are called to preach and teach. We have some that are called for other administrative duties. We have other people that do physical work on the building. We have people that do the tech stuff for the sound and the internet. We have people that do various things, and they're called to do them. And if they didn't do them, then the church could not function the way that it's supposed to. And it's very critical, even though people aren't aware of it, that God is using you, and you may not even be aware of what God uses you for. I shared a week or so ago, a couple weeks, about someone that called me that I didn't know knew anything about me whatsoever. And this person said to me, I know how you do business, and I respect you, and I know that you don't spend an hour taking the offering, and you don't do this and you don't do that. And as far as I know, if they've ever been in this church, it's only been once. And I was amazed because somehow my life has affected them, and I don't see them, and I don't see them regularly, and I don't speak to them, yet my life is influencing other people, and I didn't even know it. And in this story of Jonah, we're gonna spend some time on this story. Jonah had a significant life. Jonah had a significant purpose, and God asked him to go to Nineveh to preach to Nineveh, and he got up and left, and he was going to go to Tarsus. And it isn't unusual for people, whatever reason, they just don't want to do what God's called them to do. And God needs a repentant people, but he needs a humble people. Whatever it is God has called us to do, we need to accomplish it because it's affecting somebody else. I've shared many times that I know people that are called to evangelize and they never went. And they would go to church and they did things in church. But when you're called to be an evangelist, you're supposed to be in various cities at different times meeting other people. And they never were there. And so the purpose for their life never was accomplished. And the revivals and all the prayer and all the preaching and things they were supposed to do for other people, even though they may have even done it in a church building, wasn't what God called them to do. And later on in their life, they ran into difficulty and they had to face the judgment of God because that's not what God called them to do. It's awful quiet tonight. Amen. But Jonah, amen, knew what God wanted him to do. And so when he got away from the Lord, and I want you to listen to this, when you get away from the Lord, you lose the blessing. I didn't get an amen on that at all. When you get away from God, you lose the blessing. If you don't believe me, just read Deuteronomy 28 about the blessing and the curse, and especially read the curse. You'll read about things that happen to people that disobey the Lord. I didn't write that. Don't throw your songbook at me. I don't have nothing to do with Deuteronomy 28. I didn't write it. Amen. And that was written long before I was born. It was written about 5,000 years ago. Amen.